in someone's company, there is connections that we are creating. And how easy it can be to that I found is can be easy to create frustrations, especially if those we are comfortable with. Good morning, Mona.
Good morning, Jesse. Good morning, Allison.
Good morning.
I don't know who else is here.
Heinz.
Heinz is here.
Good morning, Heinz.
Morning, Mona. With company, we create new connections.
Mm.
Yeah. We definitely can. I was just observing how it can be easier to create frustrations with someone in there, not at them necessarily, but it can be perceived as that, than it is to build them up. And I had the conversation of how proud I was of him not responding, not taking it personal, and how maturity that is.
Mm. And compassionate.
Mm-hmm. And so it's to just see how easy the frustration can boil up and spill out. And I can sit in my pride and not clean up in the moment, and then clean up the next day. And just notice the ease, just the degree of ease that there is between the two. Or resistance, because that's the other
So
side.
the connection
of
went friction to expansion.
Mm-hmm. And afterwards, where I just couldn't let it go in the moment when I realized it, when I wasn't proud of it, wasn't happy of it, and I left it in silence.
That's one of the big problems when we have company, that is that everybody takes things so personally.
Yeah, and as I looked back on it, it wasn't anything personal. It wasn't anything they did. Now I could attach it to that, like, oh, I have to be here for you. I've had to do this thing, and I'm tired, and I lost my earpiece. Let's just make sure we don't drive off without it. Let's go. It's just not one thing. Mm. So easy. Some simple little thing can trigger it.
Mm.
Or a pile of things can contribute it. They build up.
And that comes from our own need to have things as the way that we think are best. I know sometimes when I'm tired, I don't want to be tired. And instead of just being okay with my body being tired, I do one of two things. I either try and protect it, so then I put a barrier around myself, or I fight it. And I think what I'm hearing you say, Jesse, is a little bit the same as what happens for me. Because I haven't tended to the tiredness and cooperated with it. I will get very frustrated. It's like trying to move an ankle that you've twisted rather than bandaging the ankle first.
Fighting the tired instead of surrendering to it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And so again, with that, for me, when you make that connection or when the tiredness hits, are you going to contract it or are you going to expand into it? And surrender is expansion. It's allowing. Which makes a different kind of a collaboration possible.
Release the buildup, the energy, the frustration on the awareness. And that's like the surrendering of the tension to it.
The opera singer told her that all the singers know that when they sing that high C note, they only have to sing it for about a third of the way, because there's a point at which the angels take over and expand the rest of the note. And that's the surrendering, right? surrendering to the music of the spheres. I often have to think to myself that I have so much more available than what I imagine.
And that you can imagine more.
Yes. I can choose to imagine more.
Mona, do you have a word or words for us this morning? Company and creation.
Connection.
Imagining the connection we want to create.
Mm.
Mm.
No one wants to tear them down, yet it's easy. Easier than expanding and building them up. They say we need to hear 3 to 5 positives to 1 negative.
Mm.
Is that my pattern? Say not.
I'm thinking about intention and how that will influence the point of connection or the points of connections that we make. And then I might have already said this, but so when we make that point of connection, there's a constriction because there needs to be some kind of focus and how do I say that? I'll just describe the image, I suppose. So out of thousands and thousands of dots, a few get chosen through the intention. And so then the energy focuses down to that connection. And then the potential in that connection is for expansion. And that will come with, again, allowing the connection to be inherent to what it is. It's not only the intention of what you want it to be. So what I'm sitting with is just this continual movement between the connection point and then the expansion, and then the connection that happens from that expansion, from the experience of that expansion. And how our original intention will influence all of that. And if we have enough awareness and we keep our awareness to creative structure as opposed to the problem-solving structure, then we go towards expansion kind of as a rule. But I think the reason why I'm talking about it is just that reminder that process is happening all the time. And if we have enough awareness, we can keep that direction of expansion going. Keep that orientation of expansion. And I think where I trip up is that I forget that it's a collaboration between myself and what I have available in the vibrational field. And so then I go into a constriction rather than a collaborative space. And that interrupts the possibility of flow. It's a very subtle level that it happens at.
Yes, yes, it does. Because the automatic can take over,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we just fall into it, like pulled through it.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes with practice that we can begin to notice it earlier in the process. Almost we can get to a point where we could, before we launch into it, we'll launch with something else. That is knowing the work. That's a demonstration of the work, of the practice, of the awareness.
Mm-hmm.
That takes patience. It's undoing a habit that's been done.
Mm.
And if you think every emotion we express has a habit to it,
Mm-hmm.
every emotion is connected to a habit, to a way, a predictable way, until we're aware to modify and change it.
I think that's the point of, for me, of where the allowing comes in. Which entails some trust. Eh? For me, it did.
And it does. Because in frustration and anger is a version of protection, fighting. And if we're saying, oh, we surrender that, we'd have to believe, we'd have to trust that we were okay to surrender the fight, the protection.
Mm.
And in the moment where I could have apologized to my son for snapping. And that 3 minutes later, I could have done it. I could have trusted that would have been the better move. Yeah, I ignored it and I asked how his night was. So I didn't ask for forgiveness, or I didn't acknowledge how he didn't react, didn't respond. I changed the subject, tried to take that bite out of my mouth, out of my words. to me, that was a realization of how easy it is to let the snap out, and how easy it can be to clean it up immediately. But oh no, I took it personal. I was still charged. It was still sticky to me, for me. Demonstration of what I was making and taking personal.
It's a demonstration of how much more what we say says something about us. I've enjoyed today very much, and what I'm able to leave with is, how do I remind myself that I'm not using all of what I am? And so my tentative answers are, first of all, I know that I'm not using all of what I am when I'm in frustration. And second of all, is just to ask the question, one of two, I think, either where's the rest of you, or just, do you have all of you available at the moment? Are you making use of all of you? And then making that choice. Do I want to constrict or do I want to expand? Thank you so much for the space this morning, guys. Thank you, JC. Have a great day.
Thank you, Allison. You
You have a
too.
blessed day, Alison.
Mine's, I'm gonna step out too.
Yeah. You have a blessed day too. It was great
Thanks,
making a
guys.
connection and having company so we could create together.
That's right. Welcome back.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.